Okay, so we are here to discuss Frat Row by Krista Turner Clark. And we actually did this as a group buddy read. I want to say it was like 2 months ago, may have been 3 months ago. I don't remember. I'm sure Lindsay can refresh my memory. But we actually did it as a group buddy read where there was so many of us, kind of joined.
Wow.
I had no idea. Like, I had never heard of the book. I had never seen anything about it. And then, of course, I'm always like a glutton for punishment with Lindsay when she's like, "Hey, buddy, read this with me." And I'm like, "All right, cool. Yeah." Never like quite understanding what I'm getting myself into.
Mhm.
And that was what happened with this book. I jumped in and I was like, "Holy hell, what is going on here?" So talk to us a little bit about the book. What kind of what inspired it? Were you sitting there one day and you were just like, that's a good idea? Or did you see something somewhere, read something somewhere and just say, oh, like I think I could do this a little bit better, or I could do this differently. What was your inspiration for it?
So my inspiration for Frat Row is actually Cassidy is based off of me, and that is my experience.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I have been reading the pitch black erotic horror genre for a very long time. It's my favorite. And I like to run in the mornings, and I was just thinking, like, I really want to do something different that you don't typically see. And so I was thinking, like, I love rituals and cults and stuff. And I'm just like, I'll watch like every documentary on it. So, when I was in college, Greek life was a huge thing for me. I was
Mhm.
very involved in my sorority. That's where the inspo came from. I was like, what if I took this and made it my own experience and made it incredibly dark? Also, still a lot of the things because like there's if you like really nitpick the book, all of the things that were shared in there are true about Greek life because it's my firsthand
Yeah.
experience. And my husband was in a fraternity, my brother was in a fraternity. I was surrounded by Greek life. Those are real things that I put
Yeah.
in there. So yeah, that's where the inspo came from.
Oh, that's okay. That's awesome. So I've asked this on so many different occasions, the inspiration or like, where did it come from? This is probably the first time that we've heard that it was like your own real life experience. So that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome. Um, what about characters? Are the characters real life people?
Some. So Cassidy was based loosely off of me. And then Blair is actually based off of my college roommate, loosely. And Tyler, I put a little bit of my husband in him. So, but as for like the villains and stuff, those are totally fictional.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Do they know that the characters were loosely based off of them?
So, unfortunately, I don't talk to my
Yeah.
college bestie anymore, but, we went different paths. It was like it's not like we
Yeah.
ended on bad terms or anything.
Yeah.
During that time of my life, like, it was so much fun. Like, she was
Yeah.
everything. And my husband, he does know, he read it. So,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, so they do know, or he knows. So,
How was that having your husband read kind of like tiptoeing in your brain, I guess, so to speak? Like have him reading that and then kind of looking at you like, girl, who are you? Or did he kind of
so
already know?
No, so when I started reading the pitch black genre, like here was me like with my Kindle, like he'd be like, "What are you reading?" Because I've always been a reader, like since I could walk. And so
Uh-huh.
here's me with my Kindle, and I'd like make sure he's not like looking because like there's some crazy stuff that could.
Yes.
And so like he didn't really know the extent of it. And honestly, he didn't read my book until like after it was published. I downloaded it on his phone and I sent him an ARC, downloaded it on his phone. So it went to like his Apple Books. He's not a reader
Hmm.
at all. And one day he read the whole thing in a day. And I
Yeah.
actually did I need to upload it, but I did an interview with him about his thoughts and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
just an honest, like, what did you think?
Uh-huh.
And so he read it in one day while he was working. And he comes marching down the stairs because I'm down the stairs with the kids. And he's just like, I am so frustrated with you. And I was like, why? I've been just like, what are you talking about? Because, like, like, that's not our relationship. So, and I'm like, why? What's wrong? And he's like, I cannot believe the way you left off Frat Row.
Same.
Where is book two? Like, are you working on book two right now? Like, why couldn't you have squeezed that into this book?
Yeah.
Like, why did you, how long are we going to have to wait? How long am I going to have to wait? And
Yeah.
I was like, wait, you read my book?
Yeah. That's
That's what
awesome.
you're most concerned about after reading that?
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, no, full on feel the same way. Those sentiments, I feel exactly. I think all of us that read it when we did the group read were the same way. We're like, what? What is going on here? And we need more. We want more. Like what's happening here?
I know. He still asks me like at least weekly, like, so how far are you in it now? Like
Yeah.
where like what month are we thinking?
It lives rent free in his head.
Yeah. Since it's the only book he's read since like he told me, I don't know, R.L. Stein's Goosebumps in
Uh-huh.
elementary. So he's
That's
just
funny.
yeah.
So one of the things, so you did mention that you love the pitch black genre. But one of the things that I find interesting is that it is a lot of people's like go-to favorite, you know, genre when reading. Sorry, got a little tongue-tied. But there's also a stigma to the pitch black genre where people don't like to admit that they like reading it. What is
True.
it for you? Like, are you of the like, hey, I'm loud and proud and this is what I like? Or are you more on the side of, like, hey, yeah, I like to read, just don't ever look at my Kindle history?
So about a year ago, I had I started like creating, creating content creating on Book Talk 2 years ago. Has it been 2.5 years ago now?
Uh-huh.
So I have always read like Pitch Black,
Mhm.
and I decided like maybe a year, I don't know, like probably 2 years ago to like quote unquote come out of the closet. And
Yeah.
I was just like, whatever. Like, this is what I really like. I read like the normal stuff, but this is the stuff I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I've just been, I mean, that's all my content. Like, I'm super loud and proud about it because now I'm just like, a lot more people read it than I ever thought, like that's
Yeah.
how I've met so many more friends and so
Yeah.
many, so many indie authors that
Mhm.
write these books. So I'm glad I came out loud and proud about it.
Yeah. Yeah, Lindsay said she is loud and proud. I get all of the recs from her. That's funny. Um, so in was there a struggle at any point with writing Frat Row? Like, am I going too far, or how far is too far? Or, is this something that, or is there a part or parts of the book that you felt that, readers maybe wouldn't like or would kind of, um, I guess, look away from? Not sure how to word that, but are there
Yeah,
parts?
no, I know what you're saying.
Okay.
Like, was
Okay.
there any like was I thinking like some of the parts was were they too dark
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah, did I struggle with that? Not with Frat Row because I've read darker.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to I think the hardest part writing Frat Row for me was it writing the Greek life, like all the you know all the history and everything, like how Greek life works was the hardest part to write for me, like to for someone who's never been a part of it to explain it
Right.
and to make sure I got all of that so you would understand it.
Yeah.
So like I know exactly that's the first 30% of the book.
Yeah.
And so like that was the hardest part to write. Did I think the rest of it was hard to write? No, not at all. Like
Right.
that was the easiest part. And yeah, so I was just like, I need to I couldn't escape not explaining Greek life because, like, as a reader looking at my own book, I think that first 30% is the slowest part of the book, but I
Mhm.
couldn't get around not explaining all of that.
Right. Yeah. And
So,
I love that you did that for people that aren't familiar with the Greek life or aren't familiar with, the fraternity, sorority, even some of the traditions, some of the backgrounds. I love that you did that because it helps you fully understand, you know, the stigma that is on Greek life
mhm.
without, having to go through a whole, lifetime of history lessons. You were able to do it in the beginning of the book, and that's what I really, really enjoy about that. Another thing that I really enjoyed is the fact that not only was the book, pitch black, had a lot of those, moments that we all love, but your book had a storyline. There was plot. There was more than just porn on paper, so to speak. Um, was that important for you, or was that something that you were going for?
Oh, yeah. Plot was the first thing for me because I didn't want, um, could I have gone darker with Frat Row?
Hmm.
Yes, but I didn't want to write things that, I hate reading books just for the shock factor.
Hmm.
You're just throwing it in just for the shock
Right.
factor. It doesn't go along with the plot.
Right.
So when I wrote Frat Row, I mapped out the first thing I did was like map out the entire plot because that was the most important thing to me. I wanted it to flow and I wanted a really good story around it to keep you entertained.
Hmm.
And then another thing was really important to me was the spice scenes because then so it was the plot first and then like where am I gonna incorporate the spice scenes? Where am I going to incorporate like this, that, and the other? But yeah, number one thing, plot.
That's awesome. Yeah. Because, like I said, I've read so many books that are, considered dark romance or pitch black, romance type books. And it's, I'd say a good 80% of the book is spice and, smut and all the things. And then it's just a bunch of filler in between. And you're like, where did this even come from? Why are we talking about this? What part of the book is this? And so it
Yeah.
kind of makes you feel like, what did I miss? Did I get so caught up in the spice or in the, the smutty parts that I missed a whole, you know, reason for why we're talking about this now. So,
Yeah.
again, yeah, I really appreciate that, the storyline and the plot was there, and it was more, not gonna say more of a front focus, but it didn't take away. Like the smut or the pitch black did not take away from the plot at all whatsoever. And that's something that I really enjoyed about the book.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
That's what I was going for.
yeah. Yeah. Speaking of book two, do we have a timeline? Is there anything that you can tell us about book two? Any characters coming from book one that are going to make a reappearance in book two?
Oh, yeah. So book two is going to be. a little darker. I wasn't planning on that, but book two, we're starting out at Out for Blood. So we're starting out, it's 2 years later. And it's going to give us a lot more. I see with because Frat Row is my debut, I was very afraid of doing a lot of character depth. So if you really examine the book, there's not a ton of character depth with Cassidy and Tyler
Hmm.
just because I was afraid.
Yeah.
So I kind of just made them like there's character depth, but it's not like you don't know their entire background
Right.
story
Yeah.
and like their family tree, which is like not really what I wanted. And, I honestly didn't think I was going to do a book too. So, but it's just like the way it ended, I was like, how could I have to do a book too, like for
Yeah.
casting, So Out for Blood, it shows like 2 years. So we're 2 years later. And, it's more of an emphasis on where her and Tyler are at. So you're going to get more her and Tyler, more Cassidy. Cassie's obviously changed a
Hmm.
lot. She is not this naive college girl anymore. It's 2 years later, so she's 20, and Tyler's 20 as well, a 21. And they've been hit pretty hard by like some of the darker side reality of life,
Yeah.
and it's not just like this breeze through life kind of
Hmm.
walk. So I feel like those kind of things like age you in a way and
Oh
like
yeah, for
mature
sure.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're written more maturely knowing that. And she's out for revenge. So
Love a good
I,
revenge story.
yeah. So when I was writing Frat Row, at the same time I was writing, I really did want to do, like, I didn't know if I was going to write another book. I thought this was going to be one and done. I mean, I really didn't know. But at the same time, I was writing like a revenge, like, plot at the same time, just in case, just to leave it open.
Hmm.
And because, like, my favorite revenge story is like the Mindfuck series.
Yeah.
Have you read that?
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, we that's the only one I can like think of that I've really enjoyed. And yeah, or like I really can't I've probably read some, but like one that where she goes all out,
Yeah.
and I wanted that, but I wanted to do it in pitch black. So
Yeah.
but yeah, Out for Blood. I'm about 20 to 25% done, and that should be coming probably March, April of 2026, no later than April. I am completely immersed back into that. I've been writing it every single day. And then, yes, characters are showing up. Tyler is like, they're a team, Cassidy and Tyler, and they're just taking out Cassidy's taking out these guys that did her wrong,
Yeah.
and in a very like you're gonna feel like it's gonna you're gonna you're gonna love it. I think like if you like I'm writing it and I'm just like, yeah, he got that, he
Yeah. Like you
deserves
feel the
that.
retribution.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
feel it and
Yeah.
you're just like, yeah, okay, that revenge was sweet.
I love it. I can't wait. I definitely can't wait. We're definitely going to have to put it on the calendar and um, do another one of these when you have a release that we can
Oh
do
yeah,
sort of a little release type thing.
oh,
Uh,
it'd be
so
fun.
yeah, definitely can't wait for that. You said that you weren't planning on writing and that you thought this was going to be a one and done. What was it that made you take the jump and say, I'm going to go ahead and write a book?
Well, it was just like it was kind of like, when I started content creating, I was like, oh, I'm gonna like film myself reviewing books and
Hmm.
like no one, we'll see if anybody cares.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, I was just running and I was like, I think I could, I'm gonna take all of my reading experience and everything I love when I pick up a book, and I'm
Mhm.
going to try to translate that into something that I've written. So, and like the idea for Frat Row just kept coming back and it kept coming back. So I would have a notebook and just like keep writing down things. And I kept writing down things and it just wouldn't go away. And I became obsessed. And I was just thinking like there's nothing else out there like this, in this, especially in this genre, because I've read so much in this
Yeah.
genre. So I'm like, I haven't heard of this before. So I just kept going, and I was like, I put myself out there to do the content creating. What's the difference? Trying, if I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens. Let's roll the dice.
Yeah.
And, it was kind of scary, but I was like, I really just wanted to do it to prove to myself that I could do it, just
Right.
because it had always been a dream of mine since I was a little girl. So
Yeah. Well, you did that because it's a really good book. I'm kind of glad
thank
you took
you.
that jump.
Thank you.
Um, how do you juggle the I say demanding, but it must be sort of demanding when you have all these ideas flowing through and you're like, I got to get there and I got to get them down. I got to write. How do you juggle that life versus being mom and wife?
So I am a very like organized type A person. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Um,
I have a 7-year-old son and he's in second grade. And then, I have twins, a boy girl twins, and they're 2. And so, he goes to school obviously, and then they're home with me.
mhm,
So, during the day, like I'm with them,
right.
so I'm with them and 100%. And I have a little notebook, on the counter if I think of things, or, if my phone's with me, like I'll write an idea down or something like
Mhm,
that. And then when they go down at night, I spend like an hour. I have everything ready to go to write.
mhm,
Or, like sometimes I won't write. Sometimes I'll just brainstorm or I'll read, and then I'll take like that hour to myself. And then, my husband, of course, works full time. So I'll go spend time with him.
mhm,
And then, I'll go, I'll either read or go back to writing. So, really, all of that reading and writing time is done at night.
mhm,
And then on the weekends, sometimes like on a Saturday. So, like for like no service, I wrote one Saturday. I couldn't stop, so I spent 6.5 hours just writing.
Oh, wow.
But like that was the longest session I've
Yeah.
ever done.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean Frat Row took a year from like conception to publish. Like it took a full year.
Yeah.
So I just like tried to squeeze it in when I could, but like that would like being a mom and a wife and everything, that's priority. So
Right. Yeah. 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 Nice. Nice. So aside from Frat Row and then, book two coming out and no service, are there any plans to do any other books? Are there any plans to do any other genres?
after Out for Blood, I am like 25% done with another book that will be coming out in the summer of next year. Um, that one's pretty dark and it's gonna be in the pitch black genre too.
Okay.
I already have a cover and like it's, the characters and it, yeah, so that's fun. And then I actually so crazy, but I'm spilling some tea here,
Okay.
Jessica.
We love
You're
it.
ge- you're getting you got me with that question if there's other genres. And I love fantasy and I've read fantasy since I could walk. That's always been my genre. I found
Uh-huh.
dark romance 2 years ago on Book Talk
Uh-huh.
and it like blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then I found Pitch Black, blew my mind further. Never heard of it before.
Yeah.
But I started kind of writing like ideas down. I kind of want to merge my two favorites.
Oh, so we're like pitch black fantasy, like pitch black.
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
gosh. Okay.
yeah. So I started already doing that because, when I was like, I could never write a fantasy, like the world building and
Hmm.
everything. But then it kind of came to me and I was just, I mean, I was talking to my best friend, Zuli. She's also a content creator on here, and I was telling her about it, and she's like, you definitely need to do that. And I was
Yes.
like, yeah, it's just gonna take me a minute to like, build the whole world and everything.
Yeah.
But that is something even if it's not pitch black, I would definitely want it to be dark fantasy because I have read so many fantasies lately that say they're dark, but they
Hmm.
are not dark at all. Like I want a true dark
Yeah.
fantasy.
Oh yeah, for sure. Fantasy is one of those genres that's kind of hit or miss for me personally.
Yeah.
Um, I love the world building. I love the complexity of it. But if it's not executed correctly, it's literally just a bunch of mumbo jumbo on pages. And
Not care.
yeah,
Like
at the end you're like, what the heck is even this? Like what's going on here? What did I just read? I hate having that moment after spending 700 pages in this book of thinking, what is going on here? What the
you've
heck is
lost
that?
me.
Yes.
You've already lost me. I not even like I hate maps. Like, don't
Uh,
show me like, I'm not going to visit there,
yeah, me neither.
like that. It looks nothing like I can't get there. So,
Yeah.
like, that's just going to confuse me further. If there is a vocab, like how to pronounce,
Hmm.
no, I won't read that. A
Exactly.
glossary for
Yeah.
like new word. No, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to read a textbook or
Yes.
something or
Exactly.
learn Latin or something. Like,
Yes.
I have my own pronunciation in my head for these people's names,
Yes.
So, like, I'm not gonna do it correctly.
Yeah.
And then I hate spending, like you said, 700 pages of the world building, and then we get to the story. The best fantasy books I've read is incorporating when you can take the world building and the story and intertwine them while
Yes.
telling the story. Like
Yes, exactly.
that is like the best to me.
Yeah.
So if I'm not able, I'm gonna give it a shot, but if I'm
Mhm.
not able to do it the way I want, then I won't do it.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm definitely excited for that. Because there
but
is
that
a
would
lot
be
of
the end
yeah,
of
there is a
next
lot of
year.
fantasy out there, but dark fantasy is something that, I haven't really come across too much.
Well, have you read the Legacy series?
The is that Rena Kent?
No, the fantasy series, the Legacy series by Melissa whatever.
No, I haven't. I was thinking
No.
Legacy of Gods or whatever. I'm like, no, I
Oh
haven't, but I
no,
haven't read
that wasn't
them.
that good.
Yeah.
I only liked God of Fury in that one. No, it's like
Okay.
the Legacy series. It's Reign of Storms and Endings. Reign of Storms. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Reign of Storms and Endings, I think. It was like 800 pages, really good, 6 star. But I read there's 4 books. I haven't read the fourth book yet. Read the first 3, and it's like categorized as a dark fantasy. And I don't know what's dark about it. I'm just,
Yeah.
so I just like, I want like a true dark fantasy. I think that would be so fun,
Right. Yeah.
especially since I just love captor captive. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see what you come up with for sure. And we'll definitely have that on our radar as well. One thing that I love to ask authors who we do the question and answer with is what is one um, piece of advice that you would give for the person that is kind of on the fence? They want to write, they have these ideas, either they've put it on paper or they haven't gotten that far yet, but they're just not sure. They haven't taken that last step to actually, you know, go there. What would you tell them?
So I get this question all the time in my DMs, like people, like saying I'm such an inspiration, like how did I do it? They need help with this, with that, the other. I'm always helping. Um, if they're questioning, so you're saying they're at the end, they finished writing it and they're questioning publishing it.
Either or,
Um,
either they've already written and they just haven't gotten that last step, or they haven't started putting it on paper yet. They still have that question of, can I even do this?
Oh, yeah. So I always tell people, like, you can do it. Like, it's not the way it used to be when we were younger, right? Like, where you would go into Barnes& Noble or Books A Million and you would pick up a book and you would, read the inside cover and be like, oh, I think I would like this. And then you'd look at the back and you'd read about the author, right? This is
Mhm.
what got me. The author has their master's in creative writing from Yale, and
Yeah.
I would be like, oh my God, I could never be an author because, I don't have my master's in creative writing from Yale, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, it was such a far-fetched dream for me,
Hmm.
but you can't help but, hoping one day. So I would tell anybody, like, you can be an author. It's like less than 1% people write, but less than 1% publish.
Hmm.
So the thing about it is if you haven't I've gotten like where people are like, yeah, I have all these ideas. I'm like, get a notebook. It doesn't matter. Like I have notebooks literally everywhere.
Hmm.
I go to Marshall's, TJ Maxx. They have such cute notebooks. And
Yeah.
or a 5-star notebook or
Yeah.
like I use like a legal pad, like
Mhm.
whatever. Just put something around you so that when an idea strikes or you're reading, like if you read a lot, I read a lot personally. So I'm reading, I'm like, I didn't really like that in that book, but I would be better if it was like this, like a completely opposite thought. Write it down,
Yeah.
like write it down, even if it's like a spicy scene. You're like, I didn't like that it went 5 pages long and I
Yeah.
skimmed through it. Like I
Yeah.
hate that.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
for
I,
sure.
I wrote that down, like a random sentence. Hate spicy scenes that just go for a whole chapter, like
Yeah.
hate it. So
Yeah.
write that down, start writing that down, and then like start writing like, just like random thoughts, just so they're like in front of you.
Hmm.
If I put them on my phone, when I'm in the middle of writing a book, I put it on my phone. But if I'm thinking of a new book or a new idea, it is pinned to paper so that I can visually see it. So you
Hmm.
can see it every day, and then you keep adding to it and you keep adding to it and it turns into a book.
Yeah.
And that's just keep reading because your imagination is only going to get bigger.
Hmm.
So just keep reading and like figure out what you want to write. What's your favorite genre? What do you want to bring, because there's so many indie authors, like,
Hmm.
right?
Oh
There's
yeah.
like thousands and you're like, I want to be like, what am I reading right now? Beautiful Fiend by Lola King. She's amazing, right? Like I'm reading her book and I'm like, oh my gosh, she is so, so, so good.
Hmm.
And, some people, they come out and they're like, I want to be a LeBron James of,
Oh
as
yeah.
an author.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not going to be like that, like you've got to start somewhere. you've got it's your first book is not going to be, a bestseller.
Right.
Okay. You've got to start somewhere and then you can learn. You can just learn as you go, but don't stop writing. Like I've learned so much just from writing Frat Row to like No Service and now for Out to Blood. Like personally, as a reader, it's just going to get better and you're going
Mhm.
to learn more as you go. And then for the people like wanting to make that jump from they're done, they're ready to publish, and don't second guess it. I would say my personal opinion would be, and this is going to sound bad, but don't I don't do alpha and beta readers because I don't need extra opinions. This is
Mm.
my story and this is what I want to write. I don't need you getting in my head about it, like where I need to add this or I need to do this. I
Right.
didn't do that with this. I kept this very secret.
Yeah.
My husband didn't even read it.
Right.
People close to me didn't read it. They knew I was writing it. They didn't know scenes. They didn't know anything. I kept this very close because I didn't want to be deterred.
Right.
So the only person that saw my book was my editor. That is the one thing I would say, get an editor, right? They're going to read it. They're going to tell you their honest they're not going to tell you, like they don't like the book, obviously. They're your editor. They're going to be like, okay, so developmentally, like, this doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
Or, they'll fix the grammar or whatever. Like, and then you can look at it and be like, okay, then you can make that decision whether or not you want to publish it. But that would be my advice
Right.
because that kept all the negativity or the extra thoughts out of my head because you're already thinking like, should I do this?
Right. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're already scared.
Yeah. And then after publishing, because I know that I do know somebody who ha is at the point where they want to go ahead and publish. I mean, they have everything finished, but they're not going to say scared. They're hesitant because of how cruel the world is, how cruel, the comments on social media and things like that can be.
Mhm.
How do you, I guess, sort of filter that out? Do you read them? Do you not read them? Do you, do you block them? Like how does that
Oh,
side of things work?
so I don't read my reviews on Goodreads because that's the pits over there. I don't get book recs from like if I see a book, like I'm not gonna the first place that I'm not gonna check Goodreads because people will I saw a couple of like bad reviews on my book and it was just like, you know, one of them was like this was just too dark. And so they gave me a low
Uh-huh.
rating or whatever. And I'm just like I don't know how much clearer I could have been with marketing it
Right.
that it's dark. Like
Yeah.
don't pick it up. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, like people are gonna they're gonna say negative things no matter what. And
Mhm.
like you're gonna find out that it's not the negative. I don't block people. I haven't been tagged in a bad review. I've been tagged in like a very critical review, and I think that's fine. People are gonna have their own thoughts and opinions about everything. I mean, I'm a mom. People have thoughts and opinions on how I raise my kids.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
you've just got to be ready and it just doesn't bother me. I
Yeah.
think being a book content creator has prepared me for that because like people make comments about my appearance all the time and like it doesn't really phase me. Like I'm writing for me. Like
Yeah.
these are the books I want to see as a reader.
Right.
And like that's bottom line. So, that's what I don't like. I just don't care. If they tag
Right.
me in a negative review, if I get a negative review, I'm not going to block you. I just don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to be, you just have to have a little bit more thicker skin
Mhm.
and just think like I'm doing this for me.
Right.
If anything, at the end of the day, it's for me. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
I, um, you're going to get bad reviews. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
Right.
Like when you read books, there's books you don't like.
Oh,
And that's
absolutely. I've read some trash books
right.
lately.
Yeah. And I've DNF so many
Yeah.
lately. And I'm just like, how did they not see that how did we go from here to like it was just mind-boggling and
Yeah.
but it's just like you know me and you know enough to not
Mhm.
go and bash an
Oh
author,
yeah.
but other people don't know that,
Yeah.
so it's just you gotta be able to take it. I don't read my Goodreads reviews, and you just gotta keep going. Like that's the
Yeah.
only thing, you're doing this for you. You're not doing it. You're not gonna. Not everybody's gonna like your book. Like just there's no way. Like when I put out Frat Row, I literally I was on vacation when ARCs went out, and I was like, I was talking to my family, and I was just like. I would just be happy if like one person liked it. Cause like I did it for me,
Yeah. Right.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
if,
Yeah.
if I got one good review, like that's great. Cause like it came from my head. I wrote it. And
Yeah.
then, it ended up like more people liked it. So great,
Yeah.
like so I mean, just like you've just gotta roll with it.
Yeah.
So and that's all I've done.
Yeah. I think like I don't understand the people that are like that because I do
No.
read reviews. Like when I go in and leave my reviews on books, I'll go in and read what other people had to say and like some of them I'm like really appalled by. I'm like that's not necessary. Like that you went out of your way to be super hateful. Even if it's a book that I didn't like, I still try to find the things that worked or the things that I did like and write and focus on those when it comes to my reviews because I don't like I don't want to be the person that like just poop. I'm sorry, I'm on the computer. Sorry.
You're good.
Um, anyways, I don't, son, I'm busy. Can you go somewhere for right now? Okay, go. Sorry. Anyways, I just feel like, you don't have to be that person. You don't have to be that person that has to, be so hateful and so negative. I don't think I've ever did a review where I didn't like the book and say I did not like this book. Like I said, I like to focus on the things that did work, the things that, um, if you like this kind of book, then this is definitely the book for you, kind of thing. But just to go in and be like, oh, this book is trash, like that's definitely not me. And I hate when people do that because it's such a
Yeah.
downer, especially for
Yeah.
the author.
Yeah, especially for indie authors, like
Yeah.
it really hurts indie authors.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a line I won't cross.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Or they just like I did see one review of mine, which I was just like I wasn't even thinking when I wrote the villain Rio.
Hmm.
There was like two girls, they were like in uproar because I read Haunting and Hunting Adeline such a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
Remember he was like a
Yeah. Yeah.
villain.
Yeah.
And so they were just like they gave me like two really bad reviews because I used that name. Like how dare I
Oh
use
my
that
gosh.
name from, like that book, and because it came from like a huge book, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot, honestly. Like I forgot
Yeah.
that, like that I didn't like I don't know, these names, these characters and these names came to me. They
Yeah.
weren't like, let me just look through dictionary like a name like when you're picking
Database.
out. Yeah, like I didn't and I don't think about like the names being used in other books. I don't know because like
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I forget names.
Oh, I feel like they just hadn't read enough books because
Yeah.
I was just telling Lindsay the other day, I was reading a book and I was like, this book has the same world name. It was like a fantasy style book. And I'm like, the world is the same name. The characters are the same name as another like really big fantasy, series. So I'm like, I feel like they took some of that, but I mean, I mean, it's still a good book, but I wasn't like, how could you do this? I was just like, huh, where did I hear this before?
Yeah, totally.
Um, yeah, it's crazy. And then also, I think last month, um, I got irritated with my husband because I read 3 books in a matter of 2 weeks that had his name in it. I'm like, can we not find a better name? Like, you're in my books. Like, can I get a world where you're not in it?
What's his name?
Garrett.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes, I'm like, I was so annoyed with him. He was like, It's not my fault. I didn't name these characters." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but it's your name. Get out of my books." Um, so we talked about frat row. Obviously, we talked about what you have coming up. Um, One thing that I really love, and I say this on every, author Q&A that we have, one thing that I really love about indie authors is that, when you go mainstream and you're published from, a mainstream, publisher, you
Mhm.
kind of have to fit in a box where, they tell you this is what is selling, this is what we want to see, this is, the kind of, audience we like to pull. But with indie authors, you're kind of free to just to do you. You're authentically you no matter what. There's nobody telling you how to be, what to say, what to write. Um, how important is that for you to kind of stay at that level? Or, are you shooting for a more like mainstream, publishing in the future?
Um, I don't think erotic horror or pitch black will ever go mainstream. Like,
Yeah.
I just like there's no way I'd get it. I will be trad published just because, like that's not like they're just they just
Yeah.
it's not happening,
Yeah.
So and so like for me, I mean, like, would I love to see my books at Barnes and Noble or something
Hmm.
just because I grew up there,
Yeah.
Um, no, because I don't even shop there
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, I get my books off Amazon or like wherever you get banned books. But I love going into Barnes Noble. But no, I've seen so many authors that were indie and I've talked to them
Hmm.
and they all of a sudden got a trad deal. So they push out these books and they're awful. They're
Yeah.
so terrible. And I'm just like, what? You could have just like taken your time and like really honed in on like what you want to do with it.
Hmm.
And I mean, honestly, I don't see unless it's like, I don't know what the money's probably better for
Yeah.
trad publishing. You have to do less marketing as an indie author. You're doing all the
Yeah. You're
marketing.
doing your own. Yeah.
You're doing your own, but I mean, you are put into a really horrible box, you know what I mean? So like when I was I actually talked to two audiobook companies for Frat Row,
Hmm.
and I won't name the other one, but they were already trying to put me in a box
Yeah.
for Out for Blood. And I was just like, like trying to tell me like how I couldn't go darker than
Yeah.
frat row, and I was like, what? No, I'm gonna do whatever I
Yeah.
want,
Yeah.
like, and they were very much like, we're picking the narrators and like this is what you get. And I was like, no, it doesn't have to be an audiobook, that
Yeah.
was like I literally talked to them 2 weeks after Frat Row came out. So I was just like very floored by
Yeah.
that. And and then yeah, so then I got with Blue Nose, which they've been on amazing.
Yeah.
And I got to pick my narrators and been huge part of like the marketing and creative process. And that's been really fun. And I think like, the audiobook, I love do you like audiobooks?
Yeah, I do. I do like audiobooks.
Yeah, so I love audiobooks
Yeah.
and that was like a I there's not enough of the erotic horror pitch black because the audiobook companies are afraid to take that
Hmm.
leap like the publishing companies, you
Yeah.
know? So it was really cool to get. So I'm just hoping to open the door for more of the books in that category in
Yeah.
my genre to be on audio. So
Yeah. And you said
um,
Frat Row was coming to audio in February?
February 19th. Yep.
February 19th. And what platforms is it going to be available on?
Audible
Audible.
and eventually Spotify.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, definitely can't wait. Do have to make sure that we have that on our radar as well. Um, is there anything else that you want to sort of touch on or you want to kind of, you know, give us tea about while we have you here?
Not you asked some really good questions. Just trying to think. Congrats on your
Oh,
Facebook
thank you.
group almost being at 5K.
Yes, thank
That's so
you.
exciting. I'm so glad I found you guys. I love you guys because you're one of the ones that actually moderate what is being put on your groups because there's some crazy stuff
Yeah.
that, people just don't even pay attention to in the other ones.
Yeah.
Eh, it's crazy.
Yeah, we've definitely had to pull in the reins a little bit. When we first started, we were just kind of like, yeah, sure, yeah, let's do this, let's do this, do this. But then, we kind of noticed a trend. So we were like, yeah, let's kind of, pull it back a little bit. We got to have some structure here. We got to have something going on. We definitely have an amazing admin team. We have the three admins, we have three moderators who are kind of just making sure things are running smoothly behind the scenes.
Yeah.
With all of the ideas, with all of the activities and things that we have going on. So yeah, it definitely takes a lot of work behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
I think we've kind of hit a very comfortable rhythm with how we do things. We definitely have some exciting things coming in the next year. And we are definitely always looking to support indie authors. It's one of the things that we, kind of thrive on. I know we recently started doing, in the last couple of months, we recently started doing the ARC reads. And they're starting to kind of pick up the pace a little bit. So anything that we can do to help, you guys out in any kind of way, whether it's pushing your book out on release day or, even, doing the, reviews. Like I said, we did a group read of your
Yeah,
book
that's
and
so
just
cool.
pushing out the reviews that way. We definitely love supporting indie authors as much as we can. So if there's anything that we can do, or you see where we kind of lack a little bit, never hesitate to kind of reach out and be like, hey guys, what about this? We will discuss it as an admin team and kind of go from there. But we definitely appreciate all of, you guys as far as authors, giving us a chance and allowing us to be part of your world.
Yeah, I think this is so cool. Like just interviewing, I haven't seen this like interviewing authors from like a Facebook group. I think this is like really, it's different. And I definitely wanted to be part of it just to
Mhm.
shed light on like, indie authors in my genre any way
Yeah.
I can. So, yeah, but it's really cool. I think the biggest thing for indie authors is like I started as a book content creator and then I became an indie author. So I have some experience in like marketing books because I've
Hmm.
marketed books for others. I think the hardest part with indie authors is finding the ARC readers, right?
Yeah.
So getting the word out about their book. Then once people have read it and then you get reviews coming in, that's the hardest part, the first part.
Yeah.
So, that's where I'm at right now, like trying to get ARC readers for No Service that is coming in January, which was not planned.
Yeah.
It just kind of like came over me, the idea one day. But just doing that, and I think that's like a big thing, finding ARC readers. That's the
Yeah.
most helpful thing, especially with indie authors that don't have big social platforms,
Right. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's a thing that I wish more people would, like, more groups would, like, definitely come to support
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, Lindsay says we need to get you in for an author talk next month. So basically, the author talk is um, Lindsay sets them all up, but she'll get with you. You, I guess, decide on a book that you want to kind of push out there, and then we basically have the group as a whole read it, and then you will come and kind of go in throughout the day. It's not like one of these things where you do it, like real time. But you would kind of come in through the comment section throughout the day, and the members will, talk to you about it. They'll, I guess like little mini reviews, or they'll ask you questions about, different parts of the book or the, different characters. So it's basically just a kind of day long, let's talk about this book. And a lot of
Sorry,
our members,
before publish or after publish?
no, these are
After.
these are after published.
Oh, after publish.
Yeah, these
Okay.
are after published. But a lot of our members will actually go in and purchase the books to read them.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, so I know that we've done quite a few of them now, and the authors always tell us they see a huge uptick when we do them, and the other members see the conversation being had, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well maybe this is a book that I would like, so let me go ahead and grab it." Yeah, that would definitely be something, if you were interested in, we could
Oh,
definitely do
yeah,
that.
for sure. For sure. That sounds cool. Yeah. I just,
Heather
yeah.
says she would definitely do an ARC read for Krista. Krista actually has her signups open right now for No Service. Um, so if you go to her page, I'm sure you can find that.
Yeah, there's a link for it. Just, it is a level up darker than Frat
Yeah.
Row. So be ready for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, I gotta jump on this one. Even though I told myself I wasn't gonna do any ARC reading in January, I was like, I gotta jump on this one.
I know. Well, it won't take you long.
Yeah.
It's less than 150 pages. Like,
Oh,
you can
awesome.
read it in one sitting.
Yeah.
It's just a little novella.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, you'll read it in like a day. So,
Yeah. Awesome. I'm excited. Also, Lindsay was asking about a horror book. You have a horror book coming out?
No Service is my pitch black
Uh, she's
erotic horror.
okay. She says camping horror, I
Yeah,
think.
that's it. It's
Oh,
No
okay. Yeah. So that's the
Service.
same book.
So,
Okay.
so I say pitch black, but Amazon, you have to, it's a category. It's called erotic horror. So
Uh,
they're used interchangeably. So, because I can't go in and categorize it on Amazon as pitch black, it's got to say erotic horror, which is
yeah.
what Frat Row is, erotic horror.
Yeah.
But Frat Row is also erotic thriller because, I love that thriller, like edge of your seat. And
Mhm.
so that's how No Service is written as well, erotic horror and erotic thriller.
Yeah. And No Service. You have the ARCs open right now, but when is the actual publish date?
So I'm shooting for January 31st,
Gotcha.
but I think it might come out sooner.
Okay.
So it'll be a surprise.
Oh, okay, that's exciting. We love surprises.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I, don't want to take up any more of your time. Definitely want to thank you so much for doing this and joining us. Like I said, we as a group loved your book. So excited
Thank
to
you.
see what book two brings us. Also, for No Service, excited about that one. Um, And just overall, just want to thank you for being a part of our group. Um,
Oh,
I remember the day that you joined our group because Lindsay was like, "Oh my gosh, she's here. Did you see this?" So yeah, we were definitely excited to have you.
oh,
But
awesome.
just want
Well,
to say
I'm
thank
so
you.
happy. Yeah, I'm so happy to be part of it. And I always look on there for Rex. And yeah, but thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. And I just appreciate everything you guys do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I will, as soon as this is done, I will shoot it over to you so that you have a
Oh,
copy of
yeah.
it.
Yeah. You
So,
have a good rest of your day
thank
and,
you. You
enjoy
too.
your weekend.
Yes,
Last weekend before the craziness,
I
right?
know.
Well, it
Yeah.
was so good talking to you. And I hope to talk to you. We'll talk soon.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I mean, our messages are always open. Between Lindsay and I, we're always active. So, never hesitate to reach out.
Okay. All right. Well, bye.
Okay, bye.